All right, so my mortgage is up for renewal in February, and in this video, I'm gonna talk about how I could possibly be in trouble. I'm Matt Agent Kelly. I talk about real estate investing, my local market of Vancouver, and Canadian real estate as a whole. I post every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, so if you guys get any value or entertainment from this video, all that I ask, thumbs up, subscribe, let's get into this video. Oh, and as well, if you want to book a call with me to chat about anything, just scroll down into the description, click the calendar link, and book yourself right into my calendar. So my mortgage is up for renewal in February, and I'm going to be renewing at what I think is the literal peak of interest rates. So in this video, I'm going to go over what that means for me and how I'm going to deal with it. So back in 2017, I bought my condo in Abbotsford at the literal peak. I was young. I was 22 years old, I believe. And, I bought literally 2 weeks before they introduced the stress test, and that's essentially where the market started tanking. So I put 20% down on my condo, and within 6 months, my condo was worth 20 to 25% less. So me losing my entire down payment, my very first home that I bought, obviously today, everything turned out okay. However, when I bought, prime rate was about 3%, I think, something like that. Might have been 2.5%. And now I'm gonna have to renew at what is likely going to be 6-ish%, maybe 6.25. So I've ran the numbers. I'm on a 25-year amortization. My mortgage is $200,000. And when I go to renew, my mortgage is gonna go up about $400 a month. Now, I also have the option, if I really wanted to, and if this was going to break the bank and I was going to be in big trouble, I had the option to re-amortize and roll the loan out another 30 years. And this would probably, I'm just spitballing, I actually haven't ran the numbers, but this would probably drop my payment about $150 a month or something like that. So if I was in really big trouble and I really could not afford an extra $400 a month, I do have the option to drop it down to maybe $250 a month. Now, if you bought back in 2017, I like to think most of the mortgages that were being taken out at that time were probably $500,000 or less, because I remember looking in 2021 and the average mortgage across BC was about $530,000. So I could only assume, home prices are up way more since that time. That the average mortgage in 2017 was probably a lot less, maybe 400 something, right? So let's just say you had a $500,000 mortgage. Well, at $200,000, my payment's going up $400 a month. If you have a $500,000, I would say it's safe to say that your payment's going to go up $1,000 a month, because mine's going up 400 times that by 2.5. That's $1,000 a month. So these people. Now, who's going to be in trouble here, right? Like, if your payment's going up $1,000 a month, will there be people in trouble? Yes, there's going to be people who, financed AMGs and Corvettes and you know what I mean? Like, there's always going to be people in trouble. But I like to think the bulk of people, not only do they have the option to re-amortize their loan and roll it out, but most people could probably cut $1,000 a month out of their monthly spend if they really had to. They'd cut cable. They'd stop going out to eat. They'd change what they buy from the grocery store. Maybe they get rid of one of their cars. Like, you know what I mean? You could probably do it. They would work an extra Saturday or something like that, pick up a side job, whatever it may be. I think most people could make an extra $1,000 or cut an extra $1,000 out of their life if they really, really had to. So here's the thing, right? Like I said, I bought in 2017, right? At the peak, the literal peak. Anyone who bought before me paid a lesser price. Anyone who bought after me paid a lesser price. And here's the thing, right? I'm probably the worst case scenario for a mortgage renewal at this point. I don't think it gets much worse than me. I bought at the peak in 2017. Rates were, low at that time, and then they actually went up from there. And then now I have to renew at the peak of rates, right? Anyone who bought after me paid less for their real estate, and rates were higher, right? So their payment, it's like going from, a 3.5% to a 6% isn't as bad as going from 2 to 6, which is basically what I'm gonna have to do, right? But these people who bought after me paid a lower price, and they're going from, whatever the interest rate was, it's less than mine. So they're gonna be in even less trouble than I'm in, and I'm not in very much trouble to begin with. So who is going to be in trouble? In my opinion, the people that are in trouble is obviously anybody that's on a B loan, Anybody that's on a private loan, I know I'm hearing lots of stories of people that bought pre-sales that had to close with private loans. If they don't get that stuff figured out within the next year, usually, I'm not too familiar with private loans. It might be 6 months, it might be a year, but you have the choice to renew after 6 months to a year. However, if you're underwater on your property, a private lender may not want to give you the loan, right? If that property has come down 20% since you took out the loan, well, now you've got no skin. The LTV for a private lender to renew that mortgage would be 100% LTV, meaning you have zero equity and the private lender has all of the money in the deal. They do not like that, right? So anybody on a private loan or a B loan that's coming up for renewal, because those are typically 6 months, a year term, right? Maybe 2-year term, they could be in trouble when it comes up to renewal. Another group of people that might be in trouble is anyone who bought basically in all of 2021 at this point, or at least the latter half, who bought on a floating variable, definitely probably in trouble, or anybody who bought on a static variable that's hitting trigger payment soon. Now, if you bought in 2021 and you've fixed your payments, or you bought in 2022, anytime in after like the first 3 months in 2022, I think you're going to be just fine. Because obviously your payment doesn't have to renew 5 years from now, and it's likely rates will be lower 5 years from now. You've advanced in your career, and you should be able to make those payments. But for the people who bought, static variable mortgages or floating variable rate mortgages, I think those people are probably going to be in some trouble, just because you paid $1.2 million for a townhome on a static variable 1.2% rate. Now your payments probably going to go up, like, I'm just spitballing here, but close to $2,000, right? $1,800, something like that. So that could be big trouble for people who bought in 2021. But if you bought before 2021, or you bought after 2022, or you have a fixed rate payment in 2021, you should be fine. But we will have to see what happens. I mean, before the last rate hike of 50 basis points that we just saw, 13% of all mortgages were now interest only. That means all of these static variable mortgages had hit trigger rate and they were paying 100% interest. And obviously, since the last rate hike, that number would have been higher, right? So that's a lot of people hitting trigger rate that obviously bought in 2021, right? So I mean, I do foresee some forced selling, some capitulation happening in the spring of 2023. I do think some people are going to have to dump their properties, move to Alberta, whatever it might be. But I think the bulk of people are going to be okay. So anyways, that's just my opinion. That's my story of me buying at the peak, which sucked for a while, but obviously today I'm okay. Again, if you bought at the peak, it really just comes down to what was the mortgage product that you took, and can you continue making those payments, right? If you can continue making the payments, keep making them, and you'll be fine. This isn't the stock market. Nobody's gonna margin call your home, unless you're with a B lender or a private lender, then maybe they might. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.